I'm Tabitha Hoskins, and I'm a recipient of the Collard Foundation Scholarship for Towson You Teach. This spring, I'll be a member of the third graduating class of the Towson You Teach program. I'll have a degree in mathematics with a concentration in secondary education. I'd like to thank the Collard Foundation for making this possible. I was about 15 when I decided to be a math teacher. I had helped friends and neighbors with homework when they were at their wits' end. They just wanted to finish the assignment, pass the class, and put the stress of math behind them. I saw math as a universal problem-solving language. It bothered me that this wonderful tool designed to make sense of the world was so misunderstood that people were actually afraid of it. I hoped teaching would allow me to help children develop a sense of problem solving and inquiry before they developed a fear and resentment of math. To become a teacher, I had to go to college. I worked part-time through community college before transferring to Towson University. My first semester at TU, I lived with my parents, commuted to school 3 days a week, and worked 2 part-time jobs. I was miserable. I could not afford a parking pass, so I parked on the outskirts of town and walked, biked, or rode the shuttle to campus to get to class. I was often late, always tired, and I'd spread myself too thin. I was never myself because I could never fully dedicate myself to any aspect of my life. On my toughest days, when I misread the bus schedule, walked a mile out of my way, or was stranded and relied on the kindness of strangers when I didn't have a phone or watch, I realized I'm working about as hard to get a bachelor's degree as my grandparents worked to finish elementary school. I had more opportunities than anyone else in my family had ever been given, and I had to rise to the challenge. After my first semester, I was exhausted and out of money. I left TU to work full-time, save money, then moved to Towson and devote myself to school without working. After 1 year of working full-time, I saved $10,000 and found a studio apartment within walking distance of TU. I re-enrolled, but soon ran into a problem you might expect a future math teacher to have anticipated. $10,000 doesn't go that far. What happened next was truly a blessing. I received the Collard Foundation Scholarship for Towson You Teach. This gift had an immeasurable impact on my life as a student. I was able to continue living in Towson, walking to class. I was part of the marching band. I was always on time to class. I had my homework. I was able to devote my time to studying, inquiring, preparing thoughtful lessons, and I really felt like I was myself. I had been terrified as the first person in my family to go away to school of being lost in the crowd at Towson. But being a member of the marching band and a member of the You Teach program allowed me to make a network of friends and supporters. In a sea of 22,000 students, my teachers knew my name and my story. They were personally invested in my success. I had access to a college experience I never thought possible. As I entered my senior year at TU, I moved back home just down the road from my final internship schools. I once again had enough money to pay my tuition and figured I would find a way to make everything else work. My saving grace was again the Collard Foundation Scholarship, which allowed me to dedicate my energy to my internship. I spent hours every day designing, engaging, worthwhile lessons for my students, and I have made great strides toward becoming the teacher I've always wanted to be. I'm so grateful to give my students my best. For some time, I have aspired to teach in Alaska, and I'm elated to announce I have signed a contract for the 2018-2019 school year as a first-year teacher at Bethel Regional High School in Bethel, Alaska. If you've never heard of it, Bethel is the 9th most populous place in Alaska, but that's not saying much. Before accepting the position, I attended a job fair in Anchorage, Alaska. This was my first time flying and the only chance I had to meet face-to-face with school district representatives. The Collard Foundation Scholarship helped me afford this trip and make a more educated decision about the job I accepted. The Collard Foundation's generosity has changed the course of my life more than once. Their support of the Towson You Teach program has made it possible for me to have a meaningful and productive college experience. I look back fondly on the lessons I have learned and the friends I have made. I only hope I can have such an impact on the lives of my students to come. Thank you.